Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. Today is Wednesday, the 4th day of October, 2023, Wednesday of the 26th week of the year, the 26th week in Ordinary Time, but also today it is the glorious day of days, the great feast, the great solemnity of our Holy Father, St. Francis of Assisi. Bona festa, everybody. Coming to you from the gathering space here at our Church of St. Francis of Assisi, where through those doors, our church proper there, we'll be streaming all of our Franciscan school students as we do our community mass for this great feast of our church and of our community. Along the walls, if ever you've been to St. Francis, you will see various artwork from the artist Giotto from the Basilica of St. Francis in Assisi. And they are basically scenes of the life of St. Francis that were painted and are in the upper church along the sides of the building itself. But important to take a look at them today because where is it? Where am I looking at? Oh yes, okay, right over here. So this is the one where the San Damiano cross speaks to Francis about rebuilding the church, And again, if you come into the gathering space, if you've never been here before, if you ever come to visit St. Francis, you can sort of do a pilgrimage or a stations of the life of St. Francis as you walk through the community center or through the gathering space here in the church to be able to see the various scenes of his life that Giotto painted. On this day, there are special readings for St. Francis, which we do use because it is the church, it is the patronal feast of the church itself. But the first reading, there are three readings because it is a solemnity. So the first reading is from Sirach, speaking about Francis as being the one who rebuilds the temple. Again, it is a song to one of the Israelite kings, probably to David, but perhaps not to him, but the one who basically rebuilds the temple, restores Jerusalem, makes a rainbow shine in the sky. Again, all kinds of allusions to God and things like that within it. But again, what Francis tried to do in some ways to rebuild the church, as the Cross of San Damiano actually asks him to do, and not the building in particular, but the community that is the church. And Francis again does renew, renovate, and bring to life once again, the understanding of what it means to be a believer, what it means to be a person who is a follower of Christ and a member of this community of believers. The second reading is from Paul to the Galatians, I think it is. Yes, Paul to Galatians. And again, the boast. If anybody boasts, they boast because they have a relationship with Christ. They have a relationship with God, and that's the only thing to boast about. Nothing else really matters. It is not how smart we are. It is not how many achievements we have, how successful we are. All these kinds of things like that. It is basically boasting in Christ, boasting in the Lord, and that is what makes us people of value and of worth, is because of our connection to Christ and not because of our connection to anything that basically society and culture thinks are important in our lives. The gospel today is Matthew, and we hear it during the cycle of Sundays. I think we have passed it. I think we passed it. But it is about, again, that which is hidden from the wise and the learned is revealed to little children. And again, a very appropriate gospel for our school to have on this day that it gathers for the Feast of St. Francis. But also then how it goes on to say that if you are burdened or tired or weary, you come to Christ, you come to God for rest, not for judgment, not for punishment, not to be able to be told you didn't make it or you're not worthwhile or something, you didn't live up to something or other, or that you don't matter, or that you are not part of this, so that we have to keep you at the margins because you don't live the same way everybody else is supposed to live. That is not what Christ says. That is not what the gospel says. It is about basically coming with all of your burdens, with all of your pains, with all of your anxieties, and knowing that God makes things better. And that's always important to realize. Again, God does make things better. Perhaps not in the way that we would want to make things better, but if we wait and we hold and we stay and we remain firm and we trust that God knows what God is doing, then things are made better in our lives. You look at St. Francis, basically what he tries to do is upset everything that everybody thought was important. And it causes him not to just, he attracts followers to himself, yes, but it also causes great divisions in his life and great divisions against, his townspeople and even against his family. Again, he gives back his clothing to Pietro Bernardoni, his father, to say that you are no longer my father, but God is. But yet he never reconciles, at least it's not in the sources, with his mother or his father. so again, there are always things that are left, undone, perhaps in our lives, that we need to do as much as we can to constantly remember that in whatever happens, whatever we experience in our lives, there is God. God who helps, God who redeems, God who restores, God who brings life from death. God helps us to understand ourselves in ways that we cannot understand alone. A happy day, a blessed St. Francis feast, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.